Dear Mr. Blinken, the United States of America has been a valued long-time friend of Kenya and the Kenyan people, and this is evidenced by the many development projects that the U.S. governments support in Kenya. We especially take note of all the democratic support that the U.S. government has offered Kenya over the years, which has grown democracy in our country and increased mechanisms of accountability in governance and helped in tackling the corruption question in successive Kenyan regimes. This is a friendship that Kenyans respects and values. However, recent developments, especially in relation to the conduct of the U.S. ambassador to Kenya, has made a good number of Kenyans to question the relationship between the U.S. government and Kenyans. We were perturbed when we first noticed that the ambassador took sides with an illegitimate government that many Kenyans do not recognize but has been forced down our throats. When we expected better diplomatic engagement from her, she instead decided to wine and dine with the government that the people did not want, when the least she probably would have done was to remain neutral, like many diplomats in the country have done. Most recently, Kenyans have expressed their reservations. In fact, rejection of the Finance Act, as it only serves to further oppress Kenyans who are already struggling with a failing economy. The ambassador found it right to express support on the passing of the Finance Act, citing that it will enhance business relationships with the USA. We beg to ask, is business more important than the will of the people and the dignified living of Kenyans? Again, a few days ago, while addressing the devolution conference, she had the audacity to state that Kenya had free, fair, and credible elections in 2022, which makes us wonder, does she know that 4 out of 7 commissioners dissociated themselves from the results? Does she know that 2 of those commissioners are in hiding, fleeing from a killer regime? These all point to the reasons as to why Kenyans consider the 2022 elections unfair and the current regime illegitimate. Further, by the virtue of the office she holds, the ambassador is prohibited from meddling to the host country's internal affairs, vide the doctrine of Estrada on diplomatic code of conduct. Kenyans are well capable of solving their own problems, Mr. Blinken. Can the ambassador be advised to shut up or ship out, and at best, ship out? We, the Kenyan youth, demand for the audit of the 2022 election in the spirit of transparency and accountability, as envisaged in the Article 88, Section 1H, and Article 35 of the Constitution on access to information. We will not be cowed by the selfish and the self-seeking businesswoman who keeps wanting to stop us from making this demand by endorsing an illegitimate government. Meg Whitman is living to her true nature of a businesswoman. She is being an unethical businesswoman who, because even the most successful of businesses have shown that ethics and human dignity count for something in business. Our question to the U.S. Secretary of State, and indeed the very respectful President of the USA, Mr. Joe Biden. Why are you allowing a businesswoman to ruin a relationship that Kenyans have enjoyed with the United States of America? It's indeed time that you considered giving Kenyans and Kenya a career diplomat who would add value in the relations between Kenyans and the USA? Dear Secretary of State, we ask that you consider quickly recalling Meg Whitman and give Kenyans a better deal. While at it, we also call on you, Secretary of State, to kindly add your voice to the United Nations call to the illegitimate government to stop police brutality and allow Kenyans to peacefully picket and demonstrate as it is constitutionally guaranteed until they get that which they are asking for. Many Kenyan young people have been brutalized and killed by this government that the US ambassador is supporting. These young people are martyrs of our generation, children of the Kenyan soil. A friend in need is a friend indeed. This is the time for the US government, through its Secretary of State, to show that they are indeed in support of the democracy by not allowing Kenya to draw back on all democratic and human rights gains it has made all through the years. And thanks to the support and funding from your government. It is time for you to show that you indeed are friends of Kenyans and that you care for the Kenyan youth and that the future generation of this country. Add your voice in asking that Kenyans' lives and rights are respected. Finally, for Kenya to experience peace, positive peace in this regard, it is paramount that electoral justice is fully addressed and justice is seen to be done. If the US government is keen on a peaceful and a stable Kenya, join the youth and the majority of Kenyans in this calling for the opening of the servers for a proper audit of the elections.